Happy New Year, everyone. Hello
Year.
and welcome back, guys, to the Popcorn Podcast. I've never said the intro like that. It's a little mix-up.
Like
a little hybrid there. But Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome to
Happy New Year.
2025. Happy New Year, Mickey.
Happy New Year.
Season 3 of the Popcorn Podcast has just begun. We've had an amazing season 2. And if you
It's kind of a tradition, isn't it?
It is.
Me on the
It
first,
is.
Like a good luck charm, you could say,
Yes,
All I'll say.
Mickey is back on the couch. Thank you very much as well, because I know you've got quite a busy schedule currently because you are.
I came back from Bulgaria like 4 days ago, and now I have a cold.
You came back from Transylvania.
I came back from near Transylvania with a cold.
Yeah.
And now in 2 days I'm going very far away from Transylvania.
You're going to Mordor.
I'm going, I'm going Singapore where it's 40 degrees apparently, or it feels like 40. And then after Singapore, I'm going to Sydney, to the Great Barrier Reef, and to Brisbane. Brisbane.
Yeah. Brisbane.
So January, I'm gonna be out and about, but most importantly, I'm here.
He's here right now. This is the most important thing.
Popcorn.
We're gonna get to the Count Warlock impressions in just a little bit. But yes, that was a very hectic intro. But hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Season 3, 2025 of the Popcorn Podcast. We are, of course, going to be reviewing Nosferatu, Robert Eggers' reimagining remake of Nosferatu, which we're both very, very excited to talk about. And then following this episode, we've actually got a little double episode back to back. So the following episode, episode 52, will be me and Mickey counting down our most anticipated films of 2025, which has somewhat become a bit of a tradition here on the podcast to kick off the year. When I say tradition, I mean we've done this once
before. But it's about to become a tradition.
But it's about to become a tradition,
year.
exactly.
Yeah.
So definitely do tune into that video after this one, guys. But of course, Mickey, we are here talking all things Nosferatu.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey, you have literally just come back.
Yeah.
Come straight from
I watched
the BFI.
The screening finished like an hour and 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. So as fresh comes, it doesn't get more fresh than this.
No,
yeah.
Genuinely not.
This is really weird because I thought you were going to watch it in Bulgaria.
I thought so too, because I don't know why, but I thought that it's coming out Christmas Day there, like it is in the States or something. But because that's what it said on IMDb, but IMDb was wrong. It came out like yesterday or the day before, like it did in the UK.
Yeah.
So, but I did get a private link to the from the Academy screening.
Oh,
links.
Wow. To watch the film?
Yeah, like 10 days ago.
What? And you were like, nah, there's no...
I was like, no, because I waited to see it at BFI IMAX.
And that is
10 days.
You guys see the commitment there.
10 days. And I had it like the 21st I could have seen it, but I was like, and it was a big debate. I spoke to a bunch of people, I had a bunch of counsel about this big decision in my life. And I waited and I'm glad I did.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the way to do it, man. And especially for a film as like Nosferatu, one that, I mean, I remember, I think it was your number one most anticipated film of last year.
It was. Yeah, it was.
And obviously a big part of that would be Mr. Robert Eggers. Do you want to talk a little bit about Mr. Robert Eggers and what do you think about him as a filmmaker, as an artist in the industry?
I love Eggers. I really love Eggers. I think up until Nosferatu, which I also love, spoiler, I do love the film, but up until then I think he upgraded every single time. So I'm one of those people that I think Northman is his best film, and I think they're all incredible though, right? Like they're all almost 5 stars, almost flawless filmography. Like he's a very brilliant guy, very like methodical, very detailed. His background is really unique as well, but I really love him as a filmmaker, and I think he's got like a lot of very interesting and peculiar things to say, and he's got like one of the best voices in the industry right now.
Yeah.
So I was super hyped for Nosferatu and whatever he does next. I think he does everything to like a crazy amount of perfection, and I think his voice is always so clear, and the stories are always so detailed, I
100% agree with you on that take. I think he's one of the best talents we have in the industry working today. Every time he brings out a new film, I'm always going to be super excited for it. Interesting you say The Northman is his best film, because The Northman is actually my favorite of his films.
Mine as well. I agree.
But I think
people say
I think that's a lie. I think most people, it's the fact that we are in this position where we're able to debate which of his films are the best amongst 4 great
They're
films.
all fucking incredible. They are
Exactly.
all incredible.
Straight bangers.
Like the dude does not miss.
Yeah, he doesn't.
What's
He really
that?
doesn't.
What's that meme like? That motherfucker don't miss. Nah, he's good, man.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I mean that the issue with Northman was kind of what the issue with Babylon was. I'm like a broken record, but with that film, but it was because people thought that it was like when it was coming out, it was marketed like Gladiator 2 kind of thing. So the issue with Northman was that the mainstream audience didn't like it because they didn't know what they were going into.
That was one of the
I
issues.
would argue that it's exactly the same with Nosferatu because I don't know, but to me, Northman didn't seem marketed more mainstream than it was. Like going into it, I knew it would be a pretty weird film. It was maybe weirder than I thought it would be, but not by much. But Nosferatu, same thing. Like, you know, I just told you I came from BFI IMAX at 11:30 and it was almost full at 11:30
in the morning. Yeah.
And for a film like that, which is a pretty bizarre film and a pretty weird film, I think that's awesome, but it is surprising. So it's kind of weird how people felt tricked with Northman, but now they seem to know what they're getting themselves
I mean,
into.
we have only had it for a couple of days, so we'll see what the bigger reaction to it
Yeah,
is.
that's true.
But I think The Northman, it's interesting you said you thought it was weirder than it was, because I was the opposite. I thought it was easily his most sort of commercial film by a mile. I think like something like The Witch or The Lighthouse specifically.
The Lighthouse is the weirdest by
It's
far.
so weird. It's so indie.
Yeah.
It's so like, you know, Robert Eggers in his most primal, I would say.
Yeah.
And The Northman is definitely his most sort of accessible or commercial, I think. But I think it is just a classic issue of like mainstream movie goers, you know, who aren't necessarily acquainted with indie filmmakers, just going to experience a huge film and having those kind of weird.
I mean,
nuances.
it's a blockbuster. That's like it's an indie that's
It's like
masquerading.
it's an art house blockbuster
exactly,
in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And same with Nosferatu.
Yeah.
I think it's weird because people now seem to kind of know that that's what they're going for.
Yeah.
But with the Northman, they didn't. And maybe it's because Eggers has become more of a name since the Northman. But
Definitely.
I don't know. To me, it's the same audiences.
Yeah.
So it's weird to me that they would dislike Northman but like Nosferatu.
Do you think it's the same audiences though? Because I think it's like The
Maybe.
Northman, you have like a gladiator
You're right.
epic kind of
You're
thing,
right,
but then these people are more like, oh my god, this shit looks scary. Let's go watch
Because
it.
Nosferatu is for like a bit more of like a thrill seeker,
Oh, yeah.
horror liking audience,
Definitely.
I suppose. But still, like you know, like I remember when Northman was coming out, and I was talking to like people who don't go to the cinema as much as we do, maybe, and they weren't going to see Northman. Like
Yeah.
it was a little bit too kind of artsy
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
yeah.
side for them. But now those same people are like, oh my god, I can't wait for Nosferatu. So it almost seems, I think Northman in a way logically is the more accessible film because it's like the action art house. But now we have the horror art house, and for some reason that tends to get more people in the cinema. Or maybe it's like a bigger name, maybe it's a better marketing campaign.
I think, it's interesting. I think it's like the thing with Nosferatu, it's like, oh my god, it's a vampire film. Obviously, vampires have been a huge thing forever, since cinema, since basically, you know, the first silent film, which we'll talk briefly about. But like even the cast, maybe, you know, someone like Alexander Skarsgård, obviously we love Alexander Skarsgård, he's great, but he's not quite as marketable as someone like Lily Rose Depp or Nicholas Hoult or Aaron Taylor. I feel like,
Do you think?
I think so.
I think this is Lily Rose Depp's first
it is
thing though.
but
Besides,
but it's not just Lily Rose. I think it's like the entire
they
cast.
carry a bit of like I guess like a millennial Gen Z
in a way,
push.
yeah. I think
get
Nicholas Hoult is a seemingly underrated pull to movies. A lot of people think
I just
like,
saw
overlook.
Jury too.
I haven't seen it yet, but
I didn't like it.
he's had a great year though, hasn't he?
He has.
He's had a really good year. But Nosferatu. I think the pair of us will probably both agree that this is definitely the kind of the next natural step in Robert Eggers' career.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so of course it is based originally on the 1897 Gothic horror novel Dracula by Bram Stoker, and then in 1922 the film was first brought to life cinematically by F.W. Murnau. There was a whole controversy behind that regarding like legal issues and copyright, etc. He did the film Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror, which is what has more or less essentially inspired this film.
Yeah.
No, Robert Eggers, that original film was a huge part of Robert Eggers' childhood growing up. He
and
talks
there
about
is
how
a lot of
obsessed
like very clear.
Oh, yeah,
obviously, I mean, obviously, it's like a remake,
Yeah.
or an adaptation. I would use that word more than like remake, because it's not really like he's not remaking something made over 100 years ago. He's more like adapting that material, which is already.
I think he is though. I think it's more of a remake than a reimagining, I would say. Because I think this Nosferatu is very, very... Have you seen the 1922?
Like 15 years ago.
Yeah. But I think it's incredibly faithful to that 1922 film. The plot beats are more or less the same all the way through, with a couple of different changes here and there. But I would say, like, for example, if I was to... For me, a reimagining would be like Luca Guadagnino doing Suspiria. If you look at the first film, it's like...
Which I hate, by the way.
Which one? Luca
The
Guadagnino's?
first one.
Oh, I love the first one. I hated Guadagnino's version.
I
loved the first one.
I was thinking the other day, when you asked me like most overrated film, I should have said
You
that.
should have said Suspiria.
I think the first Suspiria is like
really?
like a pile of trash.
Oh, I love it. I didn't love Guadagnino's version. But I would say that's more of a reimagining, because it doesn't actually feel in that many ways similar to the first. Whereas this film is the same kind of plot. It's just, focused on different elements more, etc. But of course, Nosferatu is, it's been reimagined many times over the years. Werner Herzog did it. Even Francis Ford Coppola did it with Dracula. And now we come to Nosferatu by Robert Eggers. So guys, from this point onwards, we are going to be talking spoilers.
Yeah.
So just to go into a little bit of a plot synopsis here. So in the 1830s, estate agent Thomas Hutter travels to Transylvania for a fateful meeting with Count Orlok, a prospective client. In his absence, Hutter's new bride, Ellen, is left under the care of their friends Frederick and Anna Harding. Plagued by horrific visions and an increasing sense of dread, Ellen soon encounters an evil force that is far beyond her control. The film is directed by Robert Eggers and stars Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Willem Dafoe, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Emma Corrin, Ralph Ineson, and of course Bill Skarsgård, amongst others. So, Nicky, my first question to you is:
Yes, sir.
Were you succumbed to the darkness?
I succumbed.
You succumbed. I succumbed as well.
Oh my god!
You've just walked out fresh out of the BFI IMAX from seeing it. I saw it last. After succumbing, I saw it last night at the Leicester Square IMAX. So I think for the pair of us, it's both incredibly fresh.
A lot of succumbing in the last
Jesus Christ,
24 hours.
Thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I loved it. It's still very fresh in my head.
Yeah.
There are a few things that surprise me, most in a good way, some in not so much of a good way. But like definitely one of the best films of the year.
From 2024. Yeah.
So much of it is fantastic. So much of it is great. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, definitely.
With subtitles. Because I probably missed about 20% of the dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm generally quite bad with like non-subtitles.
You watch all films with subtitles? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do it, man.
Unless I've seen it before. I don't know why, but it's like I've done it since I've been like a child. And when it's old English, I did struggle for like a few.
But it's not
moments.
quite as bad as something like The Witch.
No, The Witch. If I was watching in the cinema, I'd be like, there was when I watched. I don't know if you ever saw, but did you see the Hamilton theater?
No, I haven't seen Hamilton.
So I saw it, and I was like, if I had gone to see Hamilton, on stage, I would have been so pissed, because if it wasn't for the subtitles, I would have fucking understood nothing. It was probably the same for The Witch, but I really loved it. Like, obviously, there's so much to unpack, both in terms of the symbolism and the layers that Eggers always builds upon. By far, the best bit is Bill Skarsgård. I think he's ridiculous in it, ridiculous. I love the portrayal. All the acting is fantastic. The world building is great. I have a few little nitpicks that I personally didn't.
We'll get into that.
But overall, loved it. A fantastic film. What do you think?
So for me, I think, well, firstly, in preparation for this, I did watch the original 1922, loved it, and then I also rewatched all of Robert Eggers' new film. So I was prepped. I went into that IMAX screening last night, and I was like, I'm so down. I'm so excited. And in all honesty, I don't remember a film recently that has quite disturbed me quite like this.
Yeah.
Not in the conventional sense of this was scary, because I don't think overall I was too terrified about what I was watching, but I would use the word disturbed because for me, I mean, only Robert Eggers could turn like a German, like a campy German expressionist vampire film into like basically a film about sexual abuse, basically. That's essentially what this film is about.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that disturbed me most, because it's actually like they focus so much on, well, particularly like Lily Rose Depp's character and Count Orlok, this whole kind of like, you know, using how Robert Eggers kind of uses like sex, and it's very psychosexual, and like the violation of her body in this entire film, you know, it's seeped right the way through. That is the thing that whenever I was watching things, Lily Rose Depp performing in, you know, certain way, like there's like the moments where she has orgasms and all these things. I felt deeply, deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I was like, this is horror cinema that I haven't quite seen quite like this, and I thought that was brilliant. Like, that really kind of got under my skin, and I was like, oh my god. When the credits hit, I was like, I feel violated. I feel like really weird and disturbed. You know, it's Nosferatu in this film. He's portrayed almost as this kind of evil being. Obviously, he's evil personified, but almost as this kind of. He describes himself as appetite. I think that's the quote he uses, like sexual appetite specifically. You know, how he's infatuated with Ellen, this character, Lily Rose Depp's character. How seduction is kind of used. You know, the opening like 2 minutes, the first scene, oh my god.
I agree.
Oh my god. I like that shook me to like my core. Like, it was, I'm still like thinking about it. Like, I still have images that are recurring in my head, and I saw it last night, and I think overall, I think it is, like I said before, I think it's very faithful to the 1922 silent film. More or less the plot is similar, but for me, like, the one change that Robert Eggers made with this film that I thought really worked in its favor, and the thing it did different, was the choice to have Ellen, the character, have already had an experience with Count Orlok beforehand. In the original, she encounters him, or they encounter each other when Thomas comes back, and Nosferatu eventually makes it to the town.
In the original, does she like summon him as well?
No, she doesn't summon him. He comes because he gets the house across from there, and then that's when things start to go weird. But this is like, the opening scene is an encounter that the two of them had, and then it just says years later, and I was like, wow, this is so.
There's a lot of like. You can talk a lot about like what he if he is a like physical representation of feelings that she has, like
absolutely,
like shame, or I was reading about this really interesting idea that she is like kind of a dark Virgin Mary, essentially. So the way that God is physically manifests as Jesus through Mary. In the same way, Orlok physically manifests as like this creature through being like
because in the Bible, it's the angel Gabriel that appears to Mary, saying you've been chosen for this amazing thing, and obviously Nosferatu is almost like this angel of death in a lot of ways. There's a lot of Christian drawings.
I love how they made him like. Both the personification of evil, but also kind of something above that, kind of its own little feeling, like its own little creature full of all this angst, and like linked to all of the things that she is feeling as well, or maybe a representation of them.
Definitely. Yeah. I think, I mean, just on the topic of Lily Rose Depp, I think I was blown away by her performance. I was curious beforehand because I hadn't seen her in too much before. I'd seen her in like one scene in The King.
Well, The Idol does suck, but she is great.
Yeah. I saw the first episode of this and I was like, this is trash, but she is...
The first episode is the best one.
Oh, great. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Anyways, I stopped watching after that one, but I was curious to see what she could do. And she is
really good. She is
such a fearless, bold performer who literally just throws herself into this role completely. Like, the way she kind of contorts her body, all the possession stuff was incredible. Like, I was genuinely like, oh my God, this is insane. And on top of that, like, it was nice because I was watching this in IMAX. We watched this in IMAX, and usually with films like this, we don't get that kind of mass, this huge scale. But to see it on that front was amazing. The possession scenes were so well done. Should we talk about Bill Skarsgård?
Incredible, incredible. It's like it's the second performance of this year, and this even takes it a level up because I was thinking about Colin Farrell's The Penguin, which is like a performance where you cannot see Colin Farrell, right? And in the exact same way, even further, there is no Bill Skarsgård.
There's no trace of him whatsoever
at all. It is truly ridiculous. It is ridiculous. I can't really say it's insane, the voice is insane.
It's so good. I heard he worked with opera singers or something to
he
get
dropped an octave lower than usually. It's really impressive. It's like you are a black woman. He's fantastic.
Completely unrecognizable from the makeup and the entire look to the voice.
I think the best scenes are probably the scenes where it's the two of them together.
Lily Rose
Lily Rose and Count Orlok and Bill Skarsgård. There's a really the pace and the directing, but also the acting comes together for a really well crafted scene from all ends.
I also really enjoyed the first time we see Count Orlok through Nicholas Hoult, when he goes to his castle.
The first scene, that is a great
brilliant and Nicholas Hoult I think this is the best I've ever seen Nicholas Hoult. I think he's so good in this film. I think, I haven't seen Juror 2, but the way he's able to just completely, you see him and he's petrified. It's like the way he's shuddering, and it's he's that kind of stepping stone for the audience to experience the character for the first time as well. And it's truly terrifying to see him. That's another thing. Sandy, who spoke about this film on the season finale that we had, who'd seen it already, was talking about how people around Count Orlok, the people who are experiencing him, the characters that we follow react to him is half the reason why he is so terrifying, because you can see that pure dread on their faces. And I think Nicholas Hoult, he's really good. I think in many ways this is almost as much his film as it is Lily Rose or Bill Skarsgård. I think
100%. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is great as well.
He's such an underrated actor, man.
Who is he to them?
So plot-wise. So he's their friends. So obviously when Thomas, Nicholas Holt's character, goes away, and obviously Ellen, his wife, is being troubled and whatever, she goes to their friends, right? So Emma
but she stays with them even before she's troubled, though.
No, she doesn't.
No?
She's with Nicholas Hoult in their own house. Yeah.
And then when Nicholas Hoult goes, but there is a scene, Nicholas Hoult and her with Emma Corrin and Aaron, that's just them hanging out as friends.
Yeah, that's
and then he dips and she stays.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but that's at Aaron Taylor-Johnson and Emma Corrin.
That's a really interesting part of the world building as well, as his character and how I found that he's this kind of, because there is a comment there about society, isn't there? About I think it's almost like Eggers. I think you could stretch it out and say there is a comment on Puritan society as well, and the way that we have mystified and uglified sexual expression, and I think Aaron Taylor-Johnson is almost a comment on that. And then when he gets the plague, he encompassed by evil goes and becomes the thing that he's so against anyway.
Yeah, I think for me, Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character was more, I think one of my problems with the film was actually with his character. I loved his character and I loved the portrayal. I think he's a great actor, but I think in the end for me, they tried to do something with his character. Yeah. I don't know if they fleshed it out fully. In the end,
he should have been more in disagreement with who she is beforehand for that to work. So, do you get what I mean?
When you say in disagreement of Lily Rose?
Yeah. So if he was, well, I think I'll back up a little bit, because that's actually one of my, let's say, critiques, is that I think the initial context of because Lily Rose's character, Ellen, her being this kind of woman of the new world, and the sexual nature of the character is a massive point of the film, right? I think that should have been contextualized more in the beginning and throughout, for then like for the contrast of that to work better. So for example, if that was contextualized a little bit better, then the character of Aaron Taylor could have been against that more. So then when he changes in the end with Emma Corrin, that works even better. Does all of this make sense?
I kind of get what you're saying. So you're saying that
I saw it like an hour ago, so my mind is still like scrambling.
So you're saying, I think what you're saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is Aaron Taylor Johnson's character was more in opposition to Lily Rose Depp's,
I think he needed to be more of an opposition than he was. Maybe. I'm brainstorming. Because then the change in the end would have been more in connection to his character.
I see what you mean. It's almost like, kind of like he has these, thoughts about
what she should be and what society should be, but it's not like,
but still accommodates her. And still like, yeah. I think for me, he more represented this idea of like the non kind of believers in a way. He just didn't believe any of this until the very end, until his own family were even in that. At that point, I don't think he fully knew. He just kind of, at that point, he got the plague and he lost his mind. And the whole kind of like necrophilia stuff, I don't really know.
Well, that's what I was saying. I think what they were trying to do is this thing of like, when evil comes to, even to those like pure people who believe what they believe is the righteous thing to believe, when evil comes to them, even they succumb to the darkness, essentially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think because he wasn't like that much of a representation of that Puritan mindset, then the switch doesn't work.
I see.
Because
he was just sort of this like,
the plague, essentially it's like the plague gets everybody. It got even the one who didn't think he'd be gotten.
Yeah.
And then he starts, he becomes the thing that he's so against anyway.
Yeah.
But there's so many like nuances you need to work through to like.
I think we need to see it again. I think definitely we definitely need to see it again. I want to watch a lot of the the reimaginings of the story over time, and then I want to go see the rewatch this again.
Yeah.
Going slightly back to Bill Skarsgård as Count Orlok. I went to see this with Clara and some friends last night, and we went to a bar afterwards. We had a chat about the film. I'm still thinking about this. I do think Bill Skarsgård's really, really good. I really do, and I think he's, it's amazing, right, what he's able to do. I do think parts of the film, for me, and like I said before, like, I don't really know how you would counter this. I don't know how you would actually fix this problem.
Yeah.
But I felt the more dialogue he had, the more monologues he was saying, the more he spoke, the less kind of scared or the less serious I took his character, because there was a point where there were points in the film where it borderline got a little comical for me. What I mean by that is like he's obviously and yes, it's like the idea is very campy. Like that's kind of the fun of it. Like that's how you inject a lot of the camp of the original and whatnot. But like I felt like some scenes he was talking so much that I was just like, I would almost have preferred to have seen his character find that kind of balance of being this, metaphor or symbol and a character more than just, he's just a dude. Because the film doesn't really make us sympathize with him enough for him to be a fully fledged out character to me. But then it also gives him these moments of where he has these huge monologues where he's talking and talking and talking. And he's like, we were doing the accent and the voice beforehand.
I think it's so authentic that it works for me.
I will say it did work.
It's so like... I agree with you that it is like, it sounds ridiculous at times,
a little bit,
but because they commit to the fact that it's a little bit ridiculous, but that's just how he would fucking sound. Because of that, it works to me.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Like, it did work. It did work. I just felt like,
sorry to interrupt.
No,
when I say it works, I mean like for me, it really works, because if they had, toned it down a little bit, I think would have worked less.
100%.
Because then you're kind of afraid to go there. Because I think it makes sense for you to be afraid to go there, because it is like, it sounds campy and weird and like when you do the voice. But that's just how it would be. I think the fact that they pull it off because they pull it off.
Definitely.
They pull it off because they commit.
I think 100%. I think for me, the reason why it actually works, it didn't actually ruin the film for me. At times I was like, it's getting like a little, but like the reason I was able to be there with it and I was like, I'm so down for it is because you know, he has these moments of dialogue, etc., but then it's also backed up with scenes of genuine terror. For example, when Emma Corrin like wakes up in the night, her husband Aaron Taylor Johnson's plagued, and he can't wake up, and she hears her children screaming from the other room, and I'm thinking like, okay, she's gonna go and she's gonna open the door, and the kids are gonna, oh, mommy, we saw a ghost. No, she opens the door, and they're getting fucking like.
There was a guy behind me in my screening who like lost his shit laughing at that.
Oh,
and I was like,
guys, man,
but he didn't laugh at anything else. I was like, what the fuck
dude's
is
a psychopath.
Dude's
a psychopath, man.
Like, didn't laugh at nothing else.
Kids getting brutally murdered, and this guy.
And I tell you, like, no laughs the whole time, and then that happens, and he just like balls. Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought on a whole, I think the approach to to Count Orlok, this you know, terrifying. It worked. I think at times, like I was like, stop talking for a little bit and give us more of that presence a bit more. But yeah, on a whole, I think the
design of the character is
what do you think about his mustache?
I like the mustache. I like the mustache.
That's another thing for me. I was like, it kind of works. Sometimes
I am gonna nitpick on something though, but the last scene, which is amazing, honestly, when he dies, the contacts are way too like.
Oh yeah, when the sun comes in his face.
But I'm like, the contacts look like contacts, like a lot, and I don't even think I'm nitpicking that much because I was like, that's so clearly. Like they're fake contacts.
Yeah.
And I think they worked. I never noticed them before because it was in the dark. But when that sunlight hit them, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
And I would even go as far as say some of the prosthetics only in the last scene as well. I was like, but I'm quite nitpicky with prosthetics.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Is because it's like the brilliant decision to keep him for the majority of the film concealed in darkness, and you know this thing that moves in and out of the shadows. Like, that's so part of the thing. But then obviously when you put him in sunlight, that's the thing. Yeah,
the last shot is incredible.
Oh, it is. Incredible. It's literally just his skeleton
over like with the flowers and the, like decay, but also beautiful. It's so like
that was like an incredibly disturbing scene for me when they're like getting it on. Basically. That was like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, like, what am I watching? But speaking of like standout scenes, I think like the opening, like the sort of the opening scene was terrifying, genuinely terrifying. When he grabs her neck, and then you see for like a second what this guy looks like, and I was like, it wasn't enough time for me to process what I was looking at. Do you know what I mean? Like, it sort of teased it, and he didn't have clothes on. He was kind of, and I was like, oh my god, like, what the hell is that thing, man? The opening scene, the first scene where Nicholas Hoult goes to the castle for the first time, that was terrifying. Also, the scene beforehand when he's in that kind of village area and they take him in, the kind of pagan ritual sort of thing. That was cool, That's also like, that's Robert Eggers kind of really going back to his kind of roots, the whole like paganism the folklore, and like the folklore.
Do you know what that scene actually is? So it's in Romanian folklore. If there is a virgin on a white horse, the white horse will not step on the grave with a vampire. So that's how they find the vampire.
That's cool.
Because I was confused, so I googled it. It's not something I know, but I googled it because I was like, it seemed to me like a sacrifice, but there was no sacrifice.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah,
it seemed like, you know, a virgin sacrifice, but no.
They were hunting the corpses
exactly. But that's how they find the vampire through that. That's another change that they had from the original, because in the original Thomas goes to like that town village and he stays and he wants to go out at night, and they say no, you can't leave the inn because there's a werewolf outside, and the werewolf in the 1922 version is like this hyena with stripes. That's how they put it out. But then this they put a new spin on that with the whole they also brought like the whole Catholicism and Christianity element back there, and Orthodox element, which is quite cool because like I'm not Orthodox, but Bulgaria is. So when I saw the church with like all the icons and stuff, I was like, oh, that's cool.
This is like home. This is like going back home.
Exactly.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the scene where Emma Corrin comes in, opens the door to her children getting those twins were almost like, this is me stretching, but I was like, when I first saw them, I was like, oh my God, they're like homaging The Shining because they're twins and that kind of thing.
The scene with where Lily Rose and Nicholas Hoult fight.
Oh yeah.
That ends with them sleeping together. That's a great scene.
Sleeping together is a nice way of putting it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why am I being like, modest? It's a fucking Nosferatu episode,
Yeah. Her face, like, she is such, like, I think back when I used to watch horror films as a kid. I've said this on the podcast many times, but I used to watch a lot of like horror. Like it was literally my childhood watching like Possession.
Yeah.
Like I think of the films like The Ring and The Grudge and those kind of things. And Lily Rose Depp, for me, the way she's able to. Her face is she has such an apt face for that kind of genre. The way, like, she kind of just looks almost like half dead the whole time in a really good way. And her eyes are so like big and sort of brown and like, it's just, everything about her is like the perfect kind of possession kind of traditionalist. If you're going back to the roots of her, I think she was fantastic. But yeah, on a whole though, what an experience!
Yeah, I'm still a little bit like.
It's also a beautiful film as well. It's gorgeous.
It is. I'm still like very, I don't know, in trance of it. So I need to like watch it again and think about it and like really get in there because there is a lot to unpack about the film.
I'm gonna ask you to do something bold.
Yeah.
Currently, right now, I know you just
where I rank it.
What's your ranking?
I was
for Robert
literally
Eggers?
about to ask you that. I would say I was prepped for this question. You think I don't know? Yeah, I was thinking about this.
You know me too.
I'd say my ranking is like what? How do you want it?
You can do top to bottom.
Let's say top to bottom. So I mean, they're all fucking great. I would say Northman, Lighthouse, Nosferatu, Witch.
Interesting.
Yours would be.
Yeah, you tell me, because I don't even know. But go ahead.
You said Northman, so you'd go Northman. I think you'd go Nosferatu second, and then I think you'd go Lighthouse Witch.
No, I think one of my favorites is actually The Witch.
Oh, okay.
I think mine currently, as it stands, is The Northman, The Witch, Nosferatu, The Lighthouse. But I think all of them are fantastic. They're all brilliant. And
I agree.
For me, they're
first time I saw The Witch, I didn't
interchange.
like it.
You didn't?
The first time I saw it.
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
I didn't get it the first time I saw it because I saw it and I was like, what? Because I saw it pre-hype because I was/am an A24 fanboy.
Yeah.
So I saw it when it came out.
You forgot your cap, man.
Because it was an A24 film. And I was like, I don't really get it. But then I rewatched it like a few years later and I was like, what's thou likes?
Yeah.
No, but it's a really, really good film, Nosferatu. I need to rewatch it. My only criticism would be that I didn't love the edit, if I'm gonna be honest.
I noticed that a little bit as well.
Like I thought that it carried a same pace throughout the film.
Yeah.
And there was a sense of like flow that never stopped. Which I think is a very personal choice, and I think a lot of people would love that. But to me, I like films more. I mean, I like both of them, but I guess I prefer usually I prefer films that are like, if the film is a paragraph, it's like a couple of sentences with different length. Whereas this felt like a lot of commas.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't really like a change in the beat structure of the scenes or the cut itself, which is a personal preference.
Yeah,
I think.
My problem with the editing on a whole was fine. Like for me, I didn't have a huge issue with it. The only thing with me, some points I thought the edit was a bit unusual. Like it was a bit jittery, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It would go from one location like. There's no big deal from going from one location to a completely random location, but it's like some of the choices to like just really switch kind of was just a bit.
I think if you could ask me like what personal change would I make, like a personal preference, and this goes against everything Eggers wants to do, but it's just like what I think the film, for me, I would have put modern music, like modern horror score, because with a modern horror score you can really like. Those beats that I'm talking about, those like
that would be a connective tissue.
That's a connective tissue, and you can because this had like this orchestral score. I'm sure you know more about it than as a score geek. But if you put that, those modern horror scores that are very like avant-garde.
Can you give me an example? Have you seen Maleficent?
No. Let's say Midsummer.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you know the score there? Do you know what I mean?
I
It's
know
like a
this-
very minimalist, very
So
like
you're talking. But are you talking about score? Or are you talking about songs? Are you
score.
score? So you're
Yeah,
saying you want a bit? Oh, so you're so not songs.
No.
Okay.
No,
So
no,
just
no,
because
no,
it's not
no,
songs.
no.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about songs, and I was like,
it's not even like a critique on the film. It's just like I don't know. I would have.
so for
gone-
example, like if you threw in some like electric guitar,
That's very extreme. But yes.
but like not like in like someone does a guitar solo midway,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
more like a kind of bringing.
You can use the score to really like put emphasis on those eccentric beats of the story.
Yeah.
And I think because the score here was orchestral, then that adds to the pace that I'm talking about. There is a flow to the film.
I think what you're trying to say
Yeah.
is the score felt very accompanying the story.
100%.
It wasn't its own thing.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it's a personal thing. You can really use the music and everything, and all the sound design as well, which was fantastic. And
Oh, the sound design was great.
to add a bit of
Personality and
pace.
yeah. Okay.
And repace it. But again, these
Fair
are like I'm very. This feels like a very brainstormy session
Yeah.
for me because
Yeah.
I
We have
get
just
back
both
to
seen
it.
this
Yeah,
film,
yeah,
so like, do let us know your thoughts, guys, on the film. We'll definitely be checking that out,
Yeah.
it out for a second time for sure. I'm dying
Yeah.
to do that. But yeah, guys, if you have seen Nosferatu, I hope you have if you have listened to this conversation. But if you've seen Nosferatu, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu, do let us know what you thought of the film down below in the comments section. Whether you agree, whether you disagree. Where would you rank this amongst Robert Eggers' films? We had a blast watching it, but now we're gonna have a blast playing some games.
Yeah.
I've got 2 games. Mickey has apparently also got 2 games.
One of which sucks. And I'm really,
really?
sorry, but I have to do
Should we
one.
start with that one
Let's
first?
start with that one.
Yeah, okay, cool. So, okay.
See, the concept of the game is really cool,
I might steal it from you then.
but the execution is not. You
Okay.
won't steal it because it's not going to work for anything that's not
Okay.
Eggers, right?
Okay, so it's Robert
So
Eggers films.
Eggers, as we know, has a passion for like historical accuracy and specifically language.
This is great,
Right?
man.
So I have taken 5 films and I have translated them into Old English.
Sake. What the?
So I'm gonna give you. The Old English title. By the way,
I'm not even going to ask how you did that.
don't even judge me if the Old English is not right because it probably isn't. So I'm gonna give you the Old English title,
Okay.
starting from like somewhat easy.
Oh, it's a
to-
film title.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
The film title, and then you gotta guess the film.
Sure.
The new title. You know what makes it even worse is that I don't even know how to fucking pronounce half of these titles.
Okay, yeah, well, this is great. This is just gonna be great, isn't
so
it?
we're gonna see what happens. All right,
gonna go amazing.
I'm gonna start with a somewhat easy one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, ready? Don't judge me on. Not that anybody's speaking Old English. Why am I like? Don't judge me on pronunciation. But let's say, El bing, el wer, el at andre stund.
El Bing, El Arwer, El Understand.
Yeah.
The good, the bad, and the ugly?
No.
El.
Think about the first 2 words. Yeah.
Say it again.
El bing, el
Ving-
wer.
Ving.
El-
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
That's the one. Okay. Let's go. Number 2. Imp tide.
Imp Tide. In time.
There is very close.
About time.
That's the one.
Oh!
What? Flynn is so impressed on the
Yeah.
sideline. All right. Nan oil for eldrum manum.
Say it again.
Nan oil for nan oil for eldrum manum.
Something for older man, elder man, gentleman. None oh. Something for elder man.
He's fucking good at this.
Elder man.
Why is Dylan so good at this?
Elder man.
Or like around that. Think
Old man.
nan oil for
I'm blanking. Is it
Old-
recent?
No. Think you are right. Old Man
Old man.
is the second.
No Country for Old
That's
Men.
the one.
There you go.
Rewatched it last night.
Nice.
And then I have two more. Nemmen Finden.
Nemmen Finden. Nemmen Finden. For fuck's sake. Nemmen Finden.
Do you want a hint?
The
for this one?
Northman?
You want a hint?
No. Nemmen Finden. Nemmen Finden. Finden.
Switch the words.
Finden Nemmen. Finden. Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
This game is great.
And I have one last one. Okay?
Yeah.
This is a difficult one. Swede Eiffel.
Swede Eiffel.
If he gets this, I'm gonna fucking.
Swede Eiffel.
Yeah.
Eiffel sounds like Eiffel or lights. Eiffel. Say again.
Swede Eiffel.
Swede Eiffel. This is not a switch, is it? Like
No.
Okay, Swede Eiffel.
Your hint is that it's one word. So Swede
Swede
Eiffel.
Eiffel. Swede Eiffel. So I'm
But it also works as two words.
Swede Eiffel. Swede Eiffel. Oh gosh, this is
Think coming of age.
coming of age.
Comedy.
Coming of age. Super bad?
Yeah.
Is it super bad?
Yeah. I am Klaven. Swede Eiffel.
Swede Eiffel.
Oh,
That was good.
That's
good.
the
Good fun.
game.
Good fun. I was actually surprisingly great.
You were really good at that. How did you get like und tide that is about time? Yeah.
Time. T-Day sounds like time. Something time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Shall I do a film now?
Go
A
for
game
it, go
now?
for it.
Right. Cool.
Oh God.
So
Sweating again.
So Mickey, this is my first game for you. Is can you guess the horror film from the tagline?
Oh, that's
Okay.
fun. That's
Okay. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 horror films here, and I'm going to
Okay.
tell you the tagline. You got to tell me which horror film it is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first tagline we have is: "Every family tree hides a secret."
It's giving M. Night Shyamalan. Is it not giving? Every family tree hides a secret. Thinking horror films about families. Not about families. You looked at me like I was wrong.
It's about family.
Every family tree hides a secret. Pass.
That is Hereditary.
That's a bad tagline for Hereditary.
It doesn't give anything much away.
No, that's I every family tree. I did think about it. Swear, head on my heart. I was like, it wouldn't really be.
I mean, yeah.
Every family tree hides a secret.
How many family?
Oh, I
tree
guess because it does kind of make
How
sense.
mom.
Yeah, in the oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Up next, this is an iconic one. In space, no one can hear you scream.
Oh, this is Aliens.
That is correct. Alien, yeah.
Alien,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
correct, yes. Up next, we have it doesn't think, it doesn't feel, it doesn't give up.
It follows.
Correct.
Is it actually?
The clue was in the it. I think,
Yeah.
Up next, we have come for a night, stay forever.
It comes at night.
Nope.
Come for a night. Stay. The Babadook.
Nope.
Nope. Come for a night. Stay forever. Smile. No. Come for a night. Stay for. It's giving like sexual sort of vibe again. I'm not gonna lie. Come for a night. Stay forever. Give me a hint.
It's fairly recent. I want to say 2019, 2020, 2021. 2021, I want to say.
Come for a night. Stay. Is it like elevated horror
No.
sort of thing? Creature feature?
A little bit, yeah. You can say that.
Pass. What is it?
This is Barbarian.
Bro, I need to start because I did think Barbarian just now, but I was like, what fucking why Barbarian for come for a night, stay forever?
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm
gonna go
realizing
with
with
my
a lot of horror film taglines is they don't. The taglines are really not
Yeah,
about the film.
I'm going with my instinct.
Yeah. Up next we have Evil Loves Innocence.
Evil loves innocence. It comes at night.
No.
Something like young. I'm thinking like a horror film set in high school or something. What is it? Give me a hint.
Give you a hint.
Yeah.
It is. There have been a couple of sequels from this film. There's been a whole universe from this film.
The Conjuring?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Evil loves innocence.
Yeah.
Okay, up next we have a New England folktale. Evil takes many forms.
Oh, that's The Witch.
That is correct,
Yeah.
yes. If you talk to them, they will answer.
If you talk to them, they will answer. Oh, A Quiet Place?
Nope. Say it again.
If you talk to them, talk to me. Talk to me.
And finally, we have, this one's a weird one, but we have this one. This boy feels things no child should feel, sees things no human being should see.
Pass.
So that is The Shining.
Oh my god.
Oh gosh. Okay, and that's it. That's my first of 2 games done. Do you wanna give me a second game?
This second game.
Yeah.
Somebody told you it was gonna fail like so hard, but then it ended up getting like 5 billion views, right? And somebody was really wrong because it's like ranking which film this or this.
I'm so confused. Somebody did what?
Flynn, who's in the room, was
Yeah.
like, Dylan, this game is never gonna fucking work. And then
Okay.
it went viral and has
Oh,
like
yeah,
8 million
Oh,
views,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're gonna recreate it.
Oh, we're playing this or that?
Yeah.
You're gonna do this or that?
Yeah,
with me? Oh,
exactly.
okay.
exactly.
Let's do it.
This or that.
Okay.
Ready for another viral video, Flynn?
Should we try it? Okay.
All right. This or that horror film edition. All right. Nosferatu or The Northman?
The Northman.
The Northman or The Witch?
Oh my god. The Northman.
The Northman or The Lighthouse?
The Northman.
The Northman or Hereditary?
Hereditary.
Hereditary or Midsommar?
Hereditary.
Hereditary or the original Suspiria?
Hereditary.
Hereditary or Misery?
Oh, I love Misery. Hereditary.
Hereditary or The Thing?
Oh, The Thing.
The Thing or The Shining?
No, you can't do that, man. The Shining. The Shining.
That's it. The Shining
it.
takes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, so
The secret is that I got like 8 of those films from the 5-star rated horrors on Dylan's letterbox.
oh, you want to
Yeah. I went on Dylan's and I was like, horror, highest rated. And I was like, The Thing, The Shining.
The Northman, though. I mean, that's
No, I
technically
did all the Eggers ones.
okay,
It's
okay,
like
cool.
themed. you
Good
know?
stuff. And our 4th and final game, guys, it's a podcast classic. Can you guess the actor from these 4 films?
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 4 films. You got to tell me who the actor is.
Okay.
Okay. So first up, we have Divergent, Mad Max Fury Road, X-Men First Class, and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Mad Max Fury Road and Oh, this is Nicholas Hoult.
Nope.
No. No?
Mm-hmm.
Who's in Mad Max Fury Road that I'm missing? Tom Hardy doesn't work. Charlize Theron doesn't work. I feel like I'm missing a really obvious one. I'm missing a really obvious one, aren't I? Who's the other like big actor in Mad Max? Because that's the one I want to go off. It's not Into the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse. Well, Into the Spider-Verse the only... Oh. Because I'm thinking... Bear with me, eh? Because I'm thinking Into the
Anytime now.
Spider-Verse. the actors are... We've got Haley Steinfeld. We've got...
I got to push you for time.
Pass.
That is Zoe Kravitz.
See, I wouldn't have gotten
She's in
that.
Divergent.
I would not have gotten
She's
that.
in Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah.
She's in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
She plays Angel.
Yeah.
And Into the Spider-Verse, she voices Mary Jane.
Okay. Yeah.
So up
Good
next,
thing I passed. Yeah.
Up next, we have The Revenant, The Maze Runner.
Will Potter.
Yes, that's correct.
I know my boy.
Midsummer and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. That is correct.
Yeah.
Walter. Up next, we have Nightmare Alley, The Social Network, Her, and Carol.
Nightmare Alley, The Social Network. This is Rooney Mara?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
It is Rooney Mara. Up next, we have Air, Hancock, Horrible Bosses 2, Tropic Thunder.
Horrible Bosses 2. Horrible Bosses 2. This Air. I haven't seen Air, so I'm going to remove that.
Okay.
So, Tropic Thunder.
Hancock and Horrible Bosses 2.
I'm thinking, oh god, it's one of the bosses. No, it's not. Because it's not one of those. Who was the woman in Hancock? Charlize Theron. It wasn't her. Was it her?
She was in Hancock.
But that's not my guess, no. Pass, who is it?
That's Jason Bateman.
Yeah, see, it was the Horrible Bosses 2 that screwed me.
Yeah.
Should have said Horrible Bosses 1.
I just was like, screw it, let me fuck with this guy.
Yeah.
And finally, we have The Gentleman, Minority Report, Widows, and The Batman.
Am I blanking on the guy's name? Is this the who plays Alfred in?
Andy Serkis.
Not Alfred. No. The Commissioner Gordon.
Jeffrey Wright?
Yeah,
It's not him.
it's not Jeffrey Wright. Tell me the films again.
The Gentleman, Minority Report, Widows, and The Batman.
Pass.
That's Colin Farrell. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is
He's
a tough
great,
game.
great scene in The Gentleman. He's shoot your fucking mouth.
It's a tough game because I look to like one film and then I try to like go off all the actors. So if I forget one actor in that film, I'm done. You know.
These are pretty hard rounds
Yeah,
of this because I could have gone easier.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that is it. That's a wrap on episode 51, episode 1 of season 3 of the Popcorn Podcast. Thank you so much, Mickey, for
My pleasure,
coming and chatting
as always.
Nosferatu and
pleasure,
testing
bro.
on
Thank you
my
for having
old English.
Yeah. Sorry for the cold. Sorry.
We are now about to shoot. We are now about to shoot our top 10 most anticipated films of 2025. Do check that out as well.
There's some surprises.
Oh.
Dylan's gonna get really mad at me.
Okay. Well, here we I probably am, aren't I?
He is gonna get really mad at me, and I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will catch you very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.